Great, great. It feels like forever since we've been together on a show, and I'm ready to get to it again.
Yeah. We've been doing like you've been calling games, I've been calling games. Had Nick fill in
Yeah,
for us. The
yeah.
strongest man in the world, or at least Nevada. No, I'm kidding. We love
There you
you.
go.
You guys took second place in a tournament this Sunday, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. They had a good showing. Came up a little bit short of what they wanted, but hey, such is life and sports. So you can't win them
Yeah.
all, like they say.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what we are winning at is there's a band I kind of introduced you to and the fans of
Yeah,
the show talking about it.
yeah.
Um, Definitely winning at music these days, man. There's a guy we're going to be bringing on in a couple minutes, Josh Willaert, awesome guy. I thought it was only fitting since Josh is the greatest named band of all time to show some of my favorite Joshes throughout history. So I was looking back through history of Joshes. There's a dude named Joshua. He was in the Bible, did something like, Walls of Jericho. Pretty cool dude, pretty famous. Of course, Josh Duhamel was in the Transformers movies. Pretty cool guy. There's Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. Pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Myself, yours truly, do okay. But there's also a Josh that I got a chance to befriend from this awesome band called the Lowdown Drifters. Man, like I sent him to
Yeah.
you. Lowdown Drifters, just a fantastic sound. Got this gritty
Yeah.
country, also a little bit of folk soul. Like I
Yeah.
just can't put my finger on it, and I've been jamming to them for weeks, and I can't get enough. With that being said, we were blessed enough to track down Josh Willett
Mhm.
from the band, and I want to get to it and bring him on and introduce our buddy Josh. Josh, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. How are you guys doing?
Awesome, man.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for coming on. It's our pleasure.
Uh, you had a great name there, man. So I had to, I'm just kidding, but you back from the road, Josh. I know you be busy, and I appreciate you making time to do these things for
Yeah,
us and the
definitely.
audience here, man. We'll say it a million times. We love your music. We love what you're doing. So I'm gonna go and jump in these questions in honor of your time, man. So obviously, before playing with the Drifters, great
Yeah,
band. I love your sound. You're very technical. You've also got a lot of discipline. You know when to kind of hit it and then when to kind of like step back.
yeah.
I'm curious though, Josh, before playing with the Lowdown Drifters and what you've done with them, there's got to be these garage bands or maybe some early day stuff. Take me back to when you began playing, man. Like how old were you, and what was that scene like for you? You know?
Oh man. Uh when I was like 10 years old, back in like 95, I found like a broken kick drum pedal in just like the garbage at somebody's house in my old neighborhood. And I put together a drum kit that was buckets, like a five
Okay.
gallon bucket for a kick drum, the whole shebang. Built a couple stands, took some pot lids and used those as cymbals. Drove my family insane for like a whole summer. And I kept telling them I wanted a guitar, but I got a drum kit, a year later. So like 96, got my first real drums, started dinking around with them. Got my first band in like 98, a couple years later, some high school kids. And then in like around year 2000, had my uncle was a singer songwriter, and he invited me to do an open mic night. Just bring your drums, come on up. So we went to this bar, and they introduced me to the bar owner, and he just assumed I was 21, gave me a wristband, and I just kept coming back every week and just, started cutting my teeth that way, playing, for all these songwriters, just guessing on the spot what they wanted.
It's
That was
awesome,
Wow.
really
man.
the big, yeah. And it was, I grew up in a college town in Minnesota,
Okay. What was
Mankato,
the
Mm,
name of the
Minnesota.
band?
okay.
What was the band called?
Uh, the first band,
Yeah.
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 um,
If you can say.
uh, oh, I think that the first band in high school was like your local weather,
Okay.
I think it
That's
was
cool.
something like that.
I love it. Love
And
it, man.
yeah, yeah, just like a dozen bands around town. Every punk band, metal band,
Yeah.
indie band.
Okay.
Oh wow. So
Worked
you're
with,
well rounded in
yeah,
the
yeah. We
styles
had
that
we had
you
a
go.
lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
local music scene. A lot of hip hop guys
Mhm.
all over
So
the
whenever
place.
you so whenever you were doing all your open mics and you were with your buddies playing and all that, from that time to kind of now, as you've built, and you've perfected your craft or working to perfect your craft, like they say, is there maybe a gig or an event that sticks out in the forefront of your mind that you just love telling the story about? And if you have one, Could you kind of tell us about a couple of them, maybe?
Oh, man, there have been so many good ones. Yeah, I maybe recently this last summer we hit a bunch of festivals. We got to play Peacemaker Festival in Arkansas with a
Okay.
bunch of our friends. Taylor Honeycutt was playing, Tanner Usry was playing. So backstage was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I got you.
Good time, all the bands hanging out, partying. Um, a really good one was last year. We went and did a run with Roger Klein and the Peacemakers.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I do a really good job of not doing my research on anybody that we're going to play with, just so that I'm fresh. Get a good first impression going with anybody. And I didn't look them up. I had no idea who they were, and we're played our set. We opened for them, played our set. Good time, great guys, super nice. Hung out, and then they go up and they're playing, and they broke out. Was it Banditos?
Oh wow.
Back in the
Wow.
day, the
Oh, man.
refreshments. They broke into
Oh,
Banditos,
wow.
and I'm like, wait, I know this song. I've heard this song like a million times. No way. Are these are these guys?
That's crazy,
And
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
Roger and PH, the drummer, were in the refreshments, and
Mm.
yeah. I'm glad I didn't look that up. I might have fangirled or something.
Yeah.
I
Kept
know.
your cool, man. Yeah. Kept your cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we're all friends. It's great.
I think
Wow.
Dan and I talked about this. We have that problem, Josh, because we really are. We're fans of you guys, and then we're always like, okay, before the show, we kind of meditate and zen out. Like before we come on the air with them, let's kind of get our wiggles out. Like I can't imagine you, man, doing that. Like
Right?
just fanboying
Yeah.
out, right? So love it, man. So influence wise, because they're a big influence. That obviously they're great in that scene. I don't want to say red dirt, but kind of like the red dirt scene. I hate it when people put labels on it, but if you're going to put you into something, you guys have influenced a lot of up and comers, man. And I say this with all love and respect. I'm seeing some of these new guys in the past 2 or 3 years, like the Zach Bryan type music, even a little bit of the references of the Americana from like Nate Rateliff, the stuff you guys have been doing for a long time. I'm curious, man, like the scene that the mark that you're leaving on music nowadays, because there is a definite thumbprint, even like Turnpike Troubadours. You guys have this thumbprint of what you're putting on the scene. There's got to be a couple bands maybe of you that you've looked to in your career, maybe of your span. Maybe not just drummers. I know that's, everybody's got that technical person that they look to. Is there a couple musicians or artists though that have kind of left a mark on you in your career so far?
Um, yeah, I probably got the weirdest list of anybody that's been playing in this, Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, this band started in Washington, so
Yeah.
Man, I would say King Crimson.
Okay. Yeah. Great band.
Interesting,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, like usually two drummers in that band, so it holds my attention, and they're always doing something wild. Fleetwood Mac is one that heavily influenced me early on, just about tasteful drumming.
Yeah.
And just a good pop song.
Yeah.
I still love a good pop song. I think one of my favorite drummers that nobody expects is Nick Mason from Pink Floyd.
I can see that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two kind of fit in that same thing. The whole like less is more, really,
Yeah.
less is more. Otherwise, Dave Grohl, John Bonham,
Yeah.
On the opposite end of that with the power. Vinnie Paul was a big influence early on. Danny Carey.
Yeah. Shout out.
Weirdly enough, I consider Trent Reznor one of my favorite drummers.
Oh yeah.
Even
Yeah.
he doesn't play drums,
Nah.
but when he's programmed and some of the, the beats he comes up with, it's good rehearsal stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
It's solid tempos.
It makes me think of a segue question, Dan, before we hit 4. So
Yeah.
you said Trent, man, and and Josh, I remember growing up, me and Dan laughs about this still because I'd spend hours at night. Dan was the athlete, I was a musician, and my dad finally got me this rolling set, so I'd be quiet, and he gave me a pad room and just locked me in there with this V session kit, and I'd spend all night long, over and over again, all night long, jamming to this like Carlton Pearson gospel album back in the day. I just beat the heck out of it for hours at a time. That's what I learned to play on. Was there maybe an album or two that you did that too when you're learning, when you're rehearsing, when you're tracking, you're learning your crafts? What's an album or two that you just threw the headphones on with and just beat the devil out of the drum set,
Every Led Zeppelin record. I
Gotcha.
learned the whole catalog. Still do it. Still put that on. Queens of the Stone Age, Song for the Deaf. Songs
Yeah.
for the Deaf. I still put that on and just go through the whole thing.
Love it.
It's
Love that.
great warm up / cool down, whatever. I do it every rehearsal I get.
I love that. That's awesome, man. Dan, go ahead, man. Before that's great. I was just curious, man. That was a good one.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Now that you're, out and about doing, you said you guys are just getting off the road there. What does the rest of this year hold for you? Are there some of the things that you're maybe going in and putting together some music for the next trip or next album, or are you guys putting together new music as a band, or what are some of the things that you're looking forward to do to kind of wrap up the 2023 calendar year?
Yeah, man. We have the Highway 30 in Texas Music Festival coming up at the end of this month. And that's like going to be the high water mark for the shows this year. And then we're going straight into working on new material. Going to hit next year, like going to record a new record, expanding, our stage equipment.
I love it, man.
Reworking a live show, just
do you,
starting the cycle over.
Do you, because I know a lot of our buddy drummers, whether it's like, Jake, we talked to him, or from Hubert from Little Big Town. Do you do tracking on the side when you're home? Do you do that? Or is that kind of just not really in the books right now for other bands and stuff?
Yeah, I don't really have since I moved down to Texas, I don't have a studio set up here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I got all the stuff. I just don't have a space yet to like actually do tracking.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just
it's in the works.
Got you, man. I love it. Well, whenever you're ready, man. Because that's just, some people do, some people don't. Everybody's got a different preference on it if they're tracking, if they have time. Sometimes getting off the road, you want to cherish that time with the fam. So I get it, man. So that's awesome. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, what is, maybe whenever you guys are writing, what is your favorite way to write music? Do you kind of just feed off of what, maybe the rest of the band's doing, or do you kind of just tell the guys, hey, I got this rhythm that I've been thinking about, can you guys do something with it? Or what is your favorite way to write new music?
I've been blessed with where I work with a lot of songwriters, so generally when we come into a session where we're going to be working on new stuff, they come in with basically a song. They got their verses, their choruses. So I will generally kind of help with maybe a little bit of the song structure. If we hit a dead end, somebody says we need something, I'll start throwing out suggestions. But for the most part, I'm asking the songwriter, like, what are you thinking on this? Like, do you have anything? If, the producer, the songwriter, if they have anything. If not, I'll come up with an idea, kick it around.
Oh, nice.
And I generally like to try and come up with something, new that hasn't been done, that I haven't done. I hate repeating myself or doing the whole, cliches just all the time.
And
sometimes it's what the song needs.
Yeah. And I asked that because of all the influences that you've come up with through the younger days, going to open mics, working with different artists, I mean, it seems like you have a full catalog in your head of things you can go no matter which direction they want to bring to you. So that's why I asked that.
It's a good question.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had what was it? Neil Peart, I think, brought up the idea of a toolbox. And every little chop, every little fill, every little trick that it's just another tool in the box, and you bring that box with you.
I'm curious.
Awesome.
It does span a question. It's actually sometimes we go off script a little bit, Josh. But when we're looking at every artist has a different way of like tracking, right? I'm stuck on this little thought for a second, but I know back in our recording days, me and the buddies is local stuff. But I know when you and the band are doing it, because there's you can track anywhere these days, right? Like you could track at your house, you could track at a studio. Do you guys have a favorite spot, like maybe a hangout where you like to track? Is it mobile, or is there like the same studio each time, or do you guys track in different locations? I'm curious how you do that with your band.
The Drifters have done, I believe, I want to say all but one of their records at Mars Studio.
Got you.
Okay. Seattle.
It's
a private owned studio. Guy owns the spot.
That's cool.
He's not like, it's not a business. It's his passion project. Mike, and he brings us. Yeah, he's been gracious enough to let us use his spot. It's a great spot.
What a great place! Like what the spirit of the scene at the Seattle music, and you're doing like this awesome country I can't even put country on it, but you're doing this awesome Southern thing in like the Seattle scene, right? What a cool little vibe, man. It's awesome, Love it.
Right? Yeah.
Love it. Love it, man. Well, let me stop fanboying, Josh. As you said, I got a couple questions. We're gonna make you laugh. Dane and I love this part. Now, let me explain this, Josh. This is the part I told you I intentionally won't prep you for in the interview. There's a little segment that we're gonna do called rapid fire. Now, the way Dane and I do this, the fans love this. We actually bet on you. We have a bet on what we think you're gonna say. So you're actually being betted on for this. Pretty cool. Now, there's no money involved. Where if it's like ramens or things like that. But we're gonna bet on lunch. And what we do is we present to you 5 questions. What we think you're gonna say. Me and Dane write down our picks, almost like fantasy football, and you have to pick one. There's no wrong answer, but we just want to pick your personality a little bit and see what you'd say in these questions. Okay, so you ready?
All right.
Dane, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so check this out. Anything's possible, past or present. There's no such thing as time. You could be in a movie, you could be in a computer. Anything's possible for a second. So reality doesn't exist. So you get called up. They're doing a couple of reboots. Reboots are a popular thing. They've always been a part of movies. A lot of actors, drummers and musicians play movies a lot. So they walk up to you and say, "Hey, Josh, when you're off the road, we want you to be a part of one of these 2 reboots, these 2 new movies coming out. Your first option, you can be the next T-1000 in the next Terminator movie. You can be the new Terminator, bad guy. Or B, you can be the next dapper guy in the remake of Sleepless in Seattle. You want to go Terminator or Sleepless in Seattle remake? Which one do you go with?"
Who's the dapper guy? Is that Tom
You.
Hanks?
You're going to be
Seattle?
you're
the lead.
Yeah, you're going to be the lead. So
Oh no, I'm the villain. I'm taking the
Let's
villain.
go.
More fun.
Let's
More
go.
fun.
let's go. Dane, I had I actually had Terminator as well. So
Oh yeah, T-1000. That's a iconic character. Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Loved
if you want to be on tour one day, maybe you want to dress up like T-1000. That's cool, dude. You can steal my
There you
idea.
go.
So, you mentioned this. It's funny, man, because in studying you, Dan and I do a lot of prep and like looking at your style and the vibe and all that. So let's imagine we're going back into the late '60s, early '70s for a minute, and you're known as the drummer that you are now, and you guys all get transplanted back into the '60s. 2 iconic entertainers call you up and say, "Hey, I want you to fill in for me on drums for the night. Both of my drummers are sick," and you got to pick one. You got to flip a coin or whatever. Glenn Frey from the Eagles calls you, or Elvis calls you to fill in for the night. Which one are you going with? Eagles or Elvis?
Do I have to cover the vocals of this?
Nope. You're just drumming for the night. Got him.
Man, that's not even I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles. I know the catalog.
Got you. Okay.
I
I got you. Dane, did you have that one?
Yeah, the Eagles. Just making sure. Yeah, you don't have to. No vocals on that. Just
Yeah.
Don will be over
Dang
there.
Okay.
Don will be
shredding
singing.
on the
All
mic.
right.
Yeah, he'll be shredding on the mic like he usually does there.
Dang it. We're
All right.
tied 2 for 2, Dane. So 3 more of these, Josh. I love these.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fast forward back into the 90s now. So your band just keeps transplanting through time. You guys are in the DeLorean or something. I don't know what's going on. Flux capacitor. So you're in the 90s now. And 2 of these companies say, "Hey, we want you, Josh, to be the spokesperson." A lot of drummers do these days. Travis Barker does this. Our buddy Matt from Woe Is Me. A lot of drummers are getting sponsorships from food companies nowadays. So 2 companies come up and say, "Hey, we want you to wear, maybe like tattoo it or wear our brands while you're on stage every night." And either A, you can be sponsored by Surge Cola. Freaking love Surge Cola. Or B, you can be sponsored by the original Twinkies, man. Which one are you going with? Surge Cola or Twinkies? Let's go.
Surge Cola's still around, man?
It is, man. It's still around.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Surge since like the 90s.
Oh yeah, it's making a resurgence, I guess. I've seen
No
it
pun
a couple
intended.
places.
No pun
It was
intended.
good,
I love it.
I don't know, man. Twinkies a classic. I might have to go with the Twinkies.
Okay, got you. So I actually did not have
There you
that
go.
one. I had you for Surge. So, Danny, did you have Twinkies or Surge?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Twinkies, timeless.
Got you. You got me by 1, man. I love it. Okay, so 2 more, Josh. So you get actually called into your room. You and Big John, you're writing the next album. Great. So I love how he writes music. It's great. But you and him are called into your room like, "Hey, you guys are responsible for writing the next album." But what they don't tell you is it has to be a concept album. Every song on the album has to be a concept record about one of these 2 topics. Here's your topics. You got to write an entire album about wheat bread, or B, you have to write an entire album about wrapping paper, gift wrapping paper. You guys got to write an album about wheat bread or wrapping paper. Which one are you going with?
I'm gonna say, man, wheat bread's a little more on brand for us. A little dry, a little dark, a little on brand.
I love it. That's awesome. Dane, did you have that?
No, I'd wrap paper for
Yeah,
that was kind of
awesome.
I literally flipped the coin on that one.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I expect to hear a song about like Lowdown toasters or something, man. Let's go. So the Lowdown toasters, man, in the next album. So final question. This is actually more of a stylistic question. Both these dudes are like super hot in the music scene right now, and they both ask you to open up for them. Now, let me preface this: we love both of these guys, so there's no wrong answer. But stylistically, they say, "Hey, we'd like you and the band to come open up for one of these two guys." Your choices are Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, or B, Zach Bryan. And let's just say for a minute, like, there's no YouTube's not a thing, or it's just based off of their song set, nothing else. Not like the, popularity or social media following, nothing like that. Just a song catalog. Would you want to open up for Nathaniel Rateliff or Zach Bryan? Which one are you going with?
I'm not gonna lie, we've opened for Zach Bryan. He's
really
actually
okay.
He's a friend of ours, so
I didn't know that. Okay.
Zach.
Okay. I did not know that, man. I'm so sorry.
Poster from the tour.
That's cool.
His first headlining tour.
Okay. I don't know how I must have missed that because I was prepping for that. I don't know if I didn't check concerts, man, so my bad on that. So
no, Zach Bryan's no worries about that. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
Got you, man. That's awesome. Yeah, he's great. I love them both. I pegged you for Nate Rateliff, man. Just from the style of writing, that's what I thought I heard. But Dane, what'd you have on that one, man? Who'd you have?
I had Zach Bryan.
Dang it, you beat me, man. Okay, so Dane, you actually won tonight, man. Awesome.
Dane's killing it.
Yeah, Dane, you won. Well,
mail that ramen this way, man.
Let's go. Send it to you. Well, Josh, hopefully in interviews you've had, man, or press and stuff like that, that's been a segment you haven't had before. So thanks for being a good sport. Okay. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Love it. So final segment, Dane, I'll hand it back to you, man.
Yeah. On this segment, Josh, we call it an open mic. We kind of open up the floor to our guests to maybe tell some of the younger listeners, whether it be sports, the ones that follow your music, or aspiring musicians. We ask our guests to maybe give them a philosophy or maybe a mantra they've carried with them through the course of their careers that led them to where they are now, and hopefully it'll take them beyond. Is there something that maybe you could tell a younger musician or somebody that aspires to do great things, maybe something that you've kept and you want to share with them?
It's good.
Yeah, my philosophy, I guess, has always been to let everything influence you. When you get a response, right? When you're showing your new song or whatever it might be, you harness the good and the bad. If you get negative criticism, well, show them. Take that and say, well, I'll show you. And if you get positive response, that's great. That shows that the hard work is paying off. I say take it all, use it all. All the energy is energy, and just use it, ball it up, move it into whatever it is that you're doing. And when I was playing sports, it was always if you don't quit, you haven't failed. Can't fail if you haven't quit.
That's good, man.
Oh, wow.
That's writing that down. That's a very good segue into we had a guy on, Josh, we're Cardinals fans. We had a pitcher on from the Cardinals, and he talked about some of what you said is very similar. He said someone told him he wasn't even able to make the cut or make it happen, right? And it was like that fire, that motivation, that fuel, almost like silencing the critics, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So I like the way you said that, Josh. That's powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And also to add to that, with hearing your story about going to the open mics and things and playing with different people, I mean, it's almost like you being bold enough to go out there and say, okay, I don't know what's going to hit me, but I'm going to go with it. And that kind of, like you said, you wrapped it up pretty succinctly, saying let everything influence you, take that energy and go with it. So that's a great message. And I'm glad you kind of brought it all together with your experiences and carrying that with you. So that's a great message.
That's awesome, man. Josh, well, I'm sitting here. I make notes every time, and I'm kind of speechless, man. So that didn't happen very often. I'm an easy talker, man. So I hope you know we appreciate you, man. We love your music. We love what you're doing as an
Yeah.
artist. Please let it be known it's an open
Yeah.
invitation. As new music comes out, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah.
Please make it a point, man, to stay in touch, and let's make sure we do this again sometime. Okay? So
Oh, absolutely. You just let me know.
awesome, man.
Love the show.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, man.
Oh,
Thank you, man.
thank you.
We appreciate that. We love you. I mean it, man. Your stuff is real and it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I say this every time I get a band where I see it go from my generation to my kids. My daughter, I was picking her up in the car from practice tonight. She was, "Oh, you playing the Drifters?" And it was cool that we know of you guys. You know, like it's that generational thing where my parents love you,
Yeah.
I love you, now our kids love you. When you're doing
Yeah.
like this multi-generation thing, man, you're doing something right, man, because everybody loves you.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Oh, thanks, guys. That means a lot.
Awesome, man. Well, Josh, like I said, we'll get out of here, brother. Thanks. Get some rest. I know you're off on the road, so take care. Give our love to the family and
Yeah.
and the boys, and we'll be in touch very soon. Okay. So
Excellent.
Sounds good.
thanks, bro. You're welcome to drop off, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank
So
you.
Dane, I'm telling you, man, he's as calm as can be, and just one of those humble superstars, man. What do they say? Humble brag. What'd you think of that
Yeah,
guy? Just
definitely.
awesome.
I loved it. I mean, the message that he sends, the story that come along with it, all great things. You know, it's something that, you know, you start from somewhere and then you keep building, you keep staying positive and being bold. You know, it had it all. You know, I mean, anybody that aspires to go anywhere, you have to, like he said, take that energy, that influence, and just use it. Whether it's negative things, positive things, take it all and build.
His band, and they remind me too, because I'm friends with Big John too, like the singer, and he's in this band where there's I think of people like say Blink-182 for it's way different genres, but when you have like the entire band is iconic for who they are independently, right? You think about AC/DC drummer, these guys from the Drifters. You think about over time, like Danny Carey from Tool. People like
Mhm.
him, who he is the band. It's not like he's just there for sessions. Like he's in the band. He's been there from day
Yeah.
one. There's personalities that adapt. You think about even the Eagles he was talking about for a minute. I love
Yeah.
to hear the stories of these guys. And when we were chatting on the phone, it felt like it was an old friend, just so
Yeah.
calm, so cool, and been very, very successful and continues to be successful and
Yeah.
rise. And they're so humble. Like even some of their songs, and I was listening to one of their albums, and Big John was talking about, just pretty much like just riding out that humility of staying humble when you get bigger,
Yeah.
and
Right.
stone. Great track about living through your life and looking back on what you did. Just there's something about the humility, but also the greatness at the same time. This guy, and I can't get enough of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a matter of looking back and knowing that, where you started, where you came from, and you built to this now, and knowing that it's the humbleness that brings to, okay, this could all end tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's, I guess, for lack of a better term, the 15 minutes of fame, theirs just lasted this long, and they're still going and making great things. So, that's what being humble will do. It'll let you keep creating and building and getting better at it. And that's what they've done. So, I mean, I like listen, like you say, you turn me on to them. And I mean, I enjoyed listening to their stuff. I was listening to it all day today. So
Yeah.
It's great. I love people like that talk about their music in such a way that, they're not the banging on the chest type of thing. They say, this is what we do. This is where I'm from. And you listen to what it comes out in their music, I guess, is the short of it is, their personality comes out in it, and it endears to you, I guess.
Even
if
more.
I'm using the term right. Yeah.
I wrote down what he said too in closing, but it was like, hey, let people listen to it and don't be defensive. Like if someone likes it, awesome. If they don't, tell me why. Okay, what's your just put it out there. That was I kept hearing, like, for you athletes, any musicians listening, just do it. Just put it out there. Let somebody not like it. That's okay if they don't like it. Tell me why you don't like it. And I think that's huge, man. Like not if, but when you get criticism. And dude, they're popular. People love these guys. Like they're seen, but like it's okay if, even though 99% of people love you, it's okay if one person doesn't. Tell me why you don't like it. What is it about my skill set as an athlete or as a musician? Like, what can I do better? I'll listen to you. I can disagree with you, but I'll listen to you. So cool, man. That was awesome, man. I'm so glad we got Josh on tonight. Love that. If you guys haven't been jamming to him, please do yourself a favor. it's just one of a kind. Like I keep going back to this scene of bands like them. There's not a lot of them, so it's very unique.
Yeah.
You can't really call it country. You can't really call it indie. You can't really call it rock. It's everything. It's blues.
Yeah.
It's
It's
I don't know, man.
honest. It's honest, I guess, to put it in a tight bow, and it's honest music. I mean, you
so
can
good.
relate to it.
Headstone is probably my favorite song that I've been jamming to right now for the past 2 weeks, and it's a song about just this: live your life to the fullest and don't look back, and enjoy your life. And that's awesome, man. So, in any case, man, we'll close on that, Dane. I'd like to give a couple teasers. Tomorrow we've got Ellie Cohen stopping by. Love this girl, what she's doing. She'll be on the voice tryouts pretty soon. Great musician, putting a lot of her stuff on YouTube these days. And then we'll end the week with our buddy Francis from Buck Cherry on Thursday. Pretty exciting.
Nice.
And then we'll go into some heavy sports talk next week. So we'll end it on that, though. I'm riding the wave of this awesome episode. So you guys don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane?
Thank you for listening.